Hello. Okay, so I'm live on Google. Okay. Now I have to share the link. Copy. Okay. Now I have to share the link. Copy. Okay. Now I have to share the link. Mute. Okay, so I've muted YouTube and one more. Okay. I think we're good now. Hello, everyone. Thank you. It was actually a dress and it shrank. So now it's one of those kind of long tops that I wear with capri pants. So, and the sweater that's behind me I wear when it gets a little chilly. I wasn't expecting to do this, but I thought it was kind of time. All my cameras are charging. Every single battery has. So I got some supplies in. I don't buy a lot of supplies in bulk. I usually buy a little bit here and there. It stays on my wish list for a while, and then after I go through the priority of what I actually need versus what I really want. But I got some gift cards in. Thank you. It is really inexpensive. LA Colors Color Grays. It's called Weekend Escape. It matches my purse and my walls, pretty much. It's like a weird turquoisey teal color. And on that line of thought, I'm still waiting for the solid white Pilot Pereira pen to come in. But I got this Irashizuku turquoise ink. It is absolutely divine. When Maya was here, she let me try her ink made by the same company, but it was a blue color, and it was really pretty. But I have had this turquoise ink on my list for a year. So with birthday gift card money for Amazon, I got the ink. I'm like super excited about this ink, y'all. It's not permanent. I wish they made this in permanent ink. But I like writing with different color inks. So I put it in my TWSBI Mini. The only thing it doesn't really show very well. Let's cut this sunlight thing on. We'll see. You can kind of see. I can see. I don't know if y'all can see, but it has a blue turquoise. You can kind of see the turquoise in it. Probably not on camera. But up close, and as you can tell, I have it all over my fingers. All over my fingers. So, and I finally broke down and got another platinum carbon desk pen, and they have a red one, y'all. They have a red one. They have a red one. Do you know how it's not very often you actually find really pretty red fountain pens? I see a lot of some, but not very many, especially like I'm not going to spend $100 on a fountain pen. I just cannot spend $100 on a fountain pen. Not when I'd rather buy paints or, you know. But I like I like Twisby pens, and I like the Pilot Pereiras, and I love the Platinum Carbon Desk pen. So I got the red, and it came with a little cartridge of red ink, but I put the Platinum Carbon ink in it so I can draw with it. Y'all, a red Platinum Carbon Desk pen. Just don't know how excited I am. So Miss Vicky B and on her channel and in her journal class that she's got on her website, she talks about some supplies. One of the supplies is this Tukakawa. I don't know how you pronounce that. They have a video on jet pens. Excuse me. Oh, how are you going to see the new dark? Yes, we are going to see it this week. We are going to see it Wednesday or Thursday. Mr. Rockstar has to work the whole weekend and Monday, I believe, so we're going to go to see it Tuesday or Wednesday. So this is Super Black India ink. This is the Speedball one. I think this is supposed to be permanent. And the nib comes in this. This is a nib holder, and it's just a nib, so it works like a dip pen. And it has some flex to it, y'all. So it's like the Noodler's Flex. It would be like using the Noodler's Flex pen or a different Flex pen, but these are manga drawing pens. I want to call them fountain pens, but it's not technically a fountain pen, I guess. I'm not sure what it is technically, but it works like a fountain pen, but it's a dip pen. So the nib comes out. I cleaned the nib with acetate and then had to repolish 2 of my fingernails because I got the acetate. Yep, I missed a spot right there. So I have done really good this morning. Both of my camera batteries died. I got ink all over me. I messed up my manicure that I did myself. My toenails are painted the same color. I did that day before yesterday, I think. So then I had to redo them. And yeah, so I haven't tried this yet, but I'm going to. And I got a Winsor & Newton Cotman Zero. It's a round. It's a very fine. I have the silver black velvet in a 2, I think. Yeah, in a 2. So I got the Zero, because I needed a more detailed pen. Pen. Watercolor paintbrush. I don't do stickers very often, but I saw somebody on Instagram with some stickers, washi tape, and a few different things, and I said, you know, since I'm doing the Hobonichi now, how about I try just a few, not very many. So she used this little piece of washi tape that has the name of the company, and you know that's going in my journal. So got a few things. I got this. There's stickers. I got these little notebooks with pencils that are absolutely adorable. They're just so cute. So I got some little pastel colored coffees. These are so cute. So for coffee dates or coffee chats, I can use these. And then I got some basic planner icon kind of things, and I think these might be sort of pastel kind of color too. They look like basic colors to me. So, and then I got some weather icon stickers. I like drawing them, but sometimes, you know, when you're in a hurry or whatever, it's nice to have these. So, and she gave me a little card with a discount for the next time if I want to buy something else from her. Hello. So I thought this would be a really great way to kind of, you know, kick off in the Hobonichi. These stickers are very thin. I am not really doing a whole lot of ephemera and stuff in the Hobonichi because it's going to be basically a sketch or 2 or 3 for each day, depending on the day, and a tiny bit of journaling in that. I'm kind of getting back in the hang of things. And the last thing I got that came in today, the rest of the stuff will be in tomorrow, is this Canson watercolor 140 pound 9x12. I am almost out. I think I have 4 sheets left in my other, and the other one is the one that has the little glue thing at the top that you pull them off. So the only other one I have of these, I have a mixed media one, and then I have just drawing paper. I like printing things on the drawing paper. Like I printed, last time we got the PDFs from Courtney and her Little Raven Ink Patreon, I printed some of her PDFs on drawing paper. I cut it down to 8x11 and printed some of my collage PDFs on the drawing paper, and it turned out really well. I do have the right kind of acetate paper to print on. I just don't know if I want. I'm only going to print a couple on the acetate paper. Hello, Miss Hilma from Canada. I don't like, Lisa, I'm not really big into a ton of stickers, but for the weekly page in the Hobonichi, I do sort of like using, like I'll cut a piece of washi, and this is this week. I'll cut a piece of washi, like I cut the cameras out and used. I'll use a little, like a few stickers here or there, nothing major. But I would like to start using those little coffee cups, or a different little icon to kind of keep up with, so I don't have to write things out so much. So when I do like a coffee chat, I can use a little coffee cup and just put YouTube and put the title of the topic or something. Make it a lot easier for me than trying to write out everything. I thought that might. I don't have very many stickers. As a matter of fact, those little face stickers, I think they're Kwai stickers, I got like over a year ago. I was still doing the Hobonichi, might be a year and a half ago. I was still doing the Hobonichi stuff back when I got those stickers. So that's how old some of my stickers are from, I don't know, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. Hello from Georgia, Miss Tina Travis. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. My Aunt Kat lives in Auburn, Georgia. And my cousin Amanda lives in Lawrenceville, Georgia. My cousin Angie lives in Dahlonega. And her mom, I think her mom still lives in Dahlonega as well. So, are right outside of that area. So I have a lot of family out in Georgia. One of my cousins from my mom's side lives in Indiana. I have the bulk of my family lives in Charleston or outside of Charleston, though. My daughter and I are the only ones who live here, and my mom and my dad live in a place right outside of Walterboro, which is a small, very small town. Very small town. They don't even have a four-way stop. There's a little section where you slow down. There's a caution light. It's not even a four-way stop. Hello from Phoenix. So Lisa has a cousin in Fayetteville, Georgia. I haven't been to Fayetteville, Georgia. I stayed with my Aunt Kat in Auburn for almost a whole summer of quite a few years ago, about 10 or 12 years ago. Probably about, yeah. My daughter was 15, so she's 25, so about 10 years ago. We're in Columbus, but we are from Charlotte, North Carolina. Columbus, Georgia. I like Charlotte. My favorite, I like all of that stuff. I like Tennessee, where the gorge is, where I like all of different areas. I like Asheville, I like Raleigh, I like Charlotte. If I were going to move, out of South Carolina, I would either move to North Carolina, going more towards the Tennessee side, or I would move to Tennessee. Hello from Utah. My sister-in-law lives in Utah. So, a lot of people from different places. I love that. We can talk to people from all over the place. So I'm excited. I have, since while my camera's charging, I finally got the footage. I filmed my daughter. You actually sketched your fountain pens today for the prompt. Oh, you haven't felt inspired lately. Well, hopefully sketching your fountain pens helped. Yeah, North Carolina is pretty from New York City. So my daughter, I got my daughter to do something for me. I wanted to do chutes and ladders. The box is somewhere in this room. But my daughter did this. She likes acrylic and Prismacolor pencils. So she's not real big on watercolor. But I gave her my Prismacolor watercolor pencils, told her to put them down just like she does with them when she does them as colored pencils, only the shading is a bit different. She didn't need as much when she uses the water brush. So she did this, and I have it on film. I'm going to put the time-lapse version on YouTube. It will probably go up tomorrow. So I'm going to have a guest appearance. My daughter did this from the Chutes and Ladders game. I'm going to find the game in a minute so I can show you what it looks like on the box so you can actually see it. But she did such a great job. The camera stopped. It ran out of battery, and she had to go. But here's the box itself. She is thinking so that she can get back into art. She did her second interview. She hopefully has a new job, and it's if she does get this job, it'll be 4 tens. So she'll work 4 days a week for 10 hours. It's about 45 minutes away. So I will have Mr. Victor. He starts kindergarten like the 21st, which is the day of the eclipse. Yeah, my daughter got a partial scholarship to SCAD, to Savannah's art college, but her dad wouldn't help her fill out the veterans information or help her pay for anything, and I couldn't. I was a single parent. I couldn't afford to. And he told her she needed to go to two-year college first, and she didn't. She ended up doing a 2-year degree, an associate's degree in art, and then she ended up doing a 2-year welding degree because it is artistic. But she said she wanted some break from welding, so she's going to do something else that has to do with restaurant, maintenance, management. She may weld on occasion. But she said she wants to get back into art, and she thought maybe doing YouTube and doing time-lapse videos for YouTube might help her. So I gave her 2 tripods, the little tiny mini one and the Gorilla one that I have because I never use that. And I told her that she could do it on her phone. And I showed her the $20 thing where you can actually, it moves. It's like the lamp that I have that will move down and up. That it's like it can hold a tablet or a phone or a camera, and it can clamp to your desk. And I said, you could actually do it, you know. So she's going to, in the next month or two, I gave her some of the supplies that she originally gave me, the first 12 count of the Prismacolor watercolor pencils. I gave her back those, and I also gave her that Aquafine watercolor set in the round blue thing with a little brush that went with it, the little travel brush. I gave her that so she can practice some with watercolors. And I gave her a few pens. And I'm like, okay, start practicing. Start, just kind of do some stuff. And she's like, well, what about, Victor talking or whatever? And I said, if you're going to do time-lapse videos, you can just mute the sound, add some music to it, do a slight hello, how are you? In the very beginning, I said, to get used to, there are a lot of people who get on YouTube and don't even show their face. A lot of people don't show their face. And I think she could do a really great job. She's friggin' awesome with colored pencils. This is what she did for me for my birthday. I have this picture on Facebook somewhere on my Facebook wall. This is the very first time my dad took Mr. Victor for a ride on the four-wheeler. And Victor wasn't so sure about it. He was a baby and he wasn't so sure about it. But my dad was laughing and giggling, and he had a better time than Victor. As the years progress now, Victor begs to go on the four-wheeler and to go for rides, and Victor laughs and carries on like my dad did that very first time. But she did this whole thing with colored pencils, with Prismacolor pencils. And when I first started drawing again in my journals, when I first got into the Hobonichi kind of thing, I saw Courtney's videos, I saw Romney's videos, I saw Miss Vicky B, I saw a lot of people doing Hobonichi Day videos where they did this stuff. My daughter said, Mom, I had no idea you were that talented. Now, my daughter can do faces. I cannot. I can do landscape and I can do a lot of other things that my daughter is like, Mom, I can't do that. She can't do, like, she has trouble with the landscape, with that kind of stuff. But her faces, I mean, she caught my dad's wrinkles. She's got my dad's life, the laugh, the furrow that he has on, you know. I mean, everybody has different things. And Romney was talking about talent. And I understand. And my husband says, my husband was listening to it. I told him to listen. And my husband was listening. He said, it's practice. And he said, but there are people who are naturally gifted that are better at certain things than other people. Thank y'all. Thank you. She is very talented. She doesn't think so. People have commissioned work for her to do, and she has done it. She's gotten paid for it. She's like, Mom, you could do commission work. And I said, I could do commission work when I could do a face. When the face looks like a face. When it's not cockeyed and the dimensions are right. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing is perfect. My face is not symmetrical. I have one eye that kind of is a little droopy. One side of my face does that. Like my smile is sideways because when I was in my early 20s, I got Bell's palsy, and one side of my face was paralyzed for a few weeks. And I had to take this horrible medicine and then get my liver checked because of the medicine and all this crazy stuff. So after that, my face hasn't been even. It's not symmetrical after that. It's kind of like a stroke victim is what happened with the Bell's palsy. But, you know, my face went back to normal. I could use it again. I could blink again and use that side of my mouth again and everything. So I was happy. If my face turned out with the Elvis snarl on a permanent basis when I smile, that's okay. I was just happy that my face didn't stay paralyzed. So I can't do, I'm learning. I read a suggestion where if you're right-handed, start with the left side of the face, like with the left eye. And I've been doing that. I did a face in the Hobonichi this morning, and I watercolored it. And this one looks better than the last one that I did. So I think I'm pretty happy with it. It's not anywhere perfect, and it's not me, but I've been practicing with curly hair because I draw myself a lot. And curly hair is easy to do when you're doing it in little small faces. It's not so bad when you're doing it little. You know, but when you're doing it big, like this face, it's very hard because it's me. I don't have blue eyes. But I did do things a little bit different. And I like how it turned out. I've been practicing with shading. I've been practicing with eyes. See, one eye is higher than the other. One eye is higher than the other. But overall, I'm not unhappy with how it turned out because I did better. Because I realized where I was at. I don't like drawing those lines, but I'm going to have to with a pencil. I'm going to have to start drawing those really light, like the cross and the different. I'm going to have to. You do okay with, I like individual, yeah, I can draw an eye. I can draw a mouth. The nose I still have trouble with. I don't like how when you draw the nose, that round circle at the tip, I don't like that round circle. I've got to figure out a way to do a nose without the round circle. I don't really care for the round circle. I'm going to have to figure out something. Faces are very hard. Illustration can be stylized. Thank you. I'm just going to keep practicing. I've got a bunch of different, I've got like 3 different books. I've got Jane Davenport's faces. I've got Susie Blues that has the girls and she shows you about how to do faces. And I've got another book that explains some stuff with faces. And I've got printout stuff from Romney and from Courtney, and a few things saved on Pinterest to help me with faces. And you know, the only way that you get it, no matter how much you read or you look at a book, is to keep practicing. So unless I trace a face, I could trace the face, take a photograph of myself and trace it and continue to learn that way. That might help. But I thought it would be a really good idea to kind of just, you know, practice. I didn't do any of those, the grid thing, the little line where you're supposed, I didn't do that for any of the faces. I haven't really been doing that. I think I did it once or twice, and I need to, I guess, start doing that because I have such a hard time with them. So I wanted to share tomorrow. I have mostly it's camera stuff coming. I got for the Canon Rebel, the T3i, I got the little lens thing, and I got a microphone, an inexpensive, I didn't get the Rode microphone that I want. I got an inexpensive, not a super cheap one, but it has the little wind thing that I got it to go over the microphone, so I can go outside and do some filming with that camera so that it will help. A soft pencil that's easily erased smudge is your best friend when it comes to drawing faces. Yeah. I have the Derwent graphic pencils in soft and hard and stuff. I did a really good job with Chris Cornell's. Really good job with his, but his face is probably, I was looking at a picture and I drew it from the picture, and I did half a circle on his nose, and I didn't go into any super detail like wrinkles or any of that stuff, and I didn't do watercolor over this. This was done with the graphic pencils, so how it looks was a whole lot easier to do. I find doing faces so much easier with just graphic pencils. I did a really good job with his, and his hair is wavy, and I did a pretty good job with that. But it's different with watercolor. It's different. Draw your contours and shadows first. I'm thinking more in terms of shadows with it. Oh, good idea. Yeah. It's so much easier with a graphic pencil because you're doing shades. You are in shadows, like but you're not adding in. Once I start adding in watercolor, thank you. Once I start adding in watercolor, that's where, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick some things and do, yeah, I'm going to pick some things and do the graphic pencils, and I'm going to start with the graphic pencils, and I'm going to do a really soft line, and I'm going to get it down and let it dry and leave it alone, and then I'm going to go back to it, and then I'm going to add in watercolor. I'm going to take a picture of it, or maybe I'll do 2. I'll do one in black and white with the graphic pencils, and then do a very light version with the graphic pencils of it, and then watercolor. Yeah, what she said. You can't draw anything with watercolors. Watercolor's hard skill. Mad respect to those who use watercolor. Yes. I am embracing watercolor. I love watercolor for doing the little bits and bobs and stuff in my sketchbook, but I'm realizing more and more that I want to do other things in my sketchbook. I want to practice more and more with black and white, with graphic pencils, with ink, sketching with ink, you know, just not always watercolor. I have a lot of fun with watercolor and I love using watercolor, but I'm finding that I want to do other things. I don't want to limit myself. You're welcome, Lee. Thank you. I hope your daughter enjoys her nap. But okay. I don't know who that is, but we're getting okay. I'm not gonna do the whole troll thing. So I'm just excited about trying new things. I don't invest in myself nearly enough. When cheap dip pens, good carbon ink will open up a whole new world. Yes, see, that's what I'm saying. I have this this to start with I'm gonna do this. I have the platinum carbon permanent, the ink. I don't know if I'll be using it. I need to get another jar of it if I won't end up using it. But I'm going to start with the Speedo with the super black India ink to start with. And I'm going to have some fun with that. And now that I have my Blackwing, y'all. The cap is a little different. The cap is a little different. And this one doesn't say carbon desk pen on the outside of it like this one does. This one says platinum carbon. Start off drawing trees, winter dead trees. Yeah. I do a lot of trees. I do a lot of all kinds of, but I like doing with these. I like doing sketches with these pens. So I think I'm going to do more of that, like take an artist date. One of my artist dates will just be an ink sketch. And then I don't know whether I'll use those. I'm going to try to get the hang of these. I think it's cool, especially since the nibs come off of this and it's like a, you know, and then this. God, I tell you, people are trolls. Okay, so speaking of dead trees are fun. I like the winter months sketching those. I love to sketch the trees when the leaves start changing color. Get off talking. But since I have you here, one asked, why do you call him Mr. Rockstar? When David and I first met, he visited a friend of okay, some friends of mine invited me to go see an acoustic show. And I went, and that friend also had my friends, and that person who was doing the acoustic show, all were friends of David's. They had been trying to talk David into getting back into doing acoustic shows. And that night, they talked him into it. And about a month later, that was in May, so about a month and a half later, the very beginning of July, David did an acoustic show. And my friends, because I had asked about him, I'm like, who is that? And they're like, oh, that's David Taylor. I'm like, who is David Taylor? He can sing. Oh my God, he can sing and play the guitar. I'm like, okay. And he's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And that was what she told me. I'm like, okay, you're not telling me anything. What? Okay, you know, is he married? Does he have 10 kids? How old is he? You know, I didn't get any of that. He's nice, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. He can really play and sing. And, you know, so then when he did the acoustic show, I showed up and he was playing and singing. And he came over and talked to me and talked to my friend Amanda, and he was talking to us because he's friends with Amanda and her husband, and Amanda and her husband were two of my best friends. We had been at the same places and were friends with some of the same people, but not at the same time. We had never actually met. I met his dad 10 years prior to that when his dad did my birth chart for me. His dad used to be heavy into astrology and used to do people's birth charts manually without the computer. So anyway, that night we were talking in between when he was playing and singing, and he had just joined up with a band again, and he was going to be their lead singer and one of the guitar players. So I started calling him Mr. Rockstar because he was doing acoustic shows. He was in a band. He was the lead singer, and he played guitar, and that's why I call him Mr. Rockstar. Sometimes I also call him Mr. Truck Driver at home. I'm like, okay, Mr. Truck Driver. But he used to call me paparazzi because I was always taking pictures. I have a picture of him talking and laughing the very first night that we met. And he's like, you're a stalker. Okay. Boy, I tell you, these people are out of like their minds with the trolling crap. Yeah, I guess they do have a lot of accounts. So I thought, you know, when I first met him that I didn't know that he was so much younger than me. He is almost 11 years younger than I am. And he didn't realize I was as old as I was. He thought I was more his age. So that's why I call him Mr. Rockstar, because he was doing acoustic shows and playing and singing. Okay, so somebody asked about trouble with the nibs, having to dip a lot. If you clean your nibs, then run them over with a flame a bit, they will hold the ink better. Cool. So if I start having problems, then I'll know. I'm telling you. Thanks, Sherry, for telling people about how that will help with the nibs. I took acetate. Like it said, JetPens had a video. And I took acetate to mine, but I didn't burn it. But I will burn it if I need to. I just coated it with. I rubbed acetate over it. But if acetate's not good enough, I can burn it. So I'm gonna get back to doing more videos for YouTube. Rubbing alcohol. I don't know if I have any more rubbing alcohol. I think I used the rubbing alcohol all gone. I didn't. Yeah, I don't have any more. I need to get some more because that happened when the ants. Woo! Okay. They're out like, and you know, I think this is the first time I've had trolls that bad. The first time I've ever had trolls that bad. It is idiot day. Maybe it's because it's the weekend. I don't know. I normally watch Romany's Saturday morning chats or Sunday morning chats, and I noticed that she gets a lot of them. I've watched a few other chats where people have ridiculous. I don't know why. It's a YouTube milestone. Maybe it is a YouTube milestone. When you start getting the trolls, you know, maybe it is the moon. Yeah, it could be the moon too, because, you know, Monday's what, the full moon? Depending on where you're at, it could be, it's definitely this weekend though. My husband doesn't like driving when it's a full moon weekend or when it's a full moon. He said people can, they do go crazy. Okay. Yeah, yeah, that's ridiculous. So I don't want to give them my time though. So I'm blocking them as they come up. This is yes, back to the chat. I'm just deleting. I'm getting rid of them. So I'm really excited though about like trying some new things. Like I said, I don't have everything, but one of the new things that I did get that I wanted to share. I have more than one of these. Where's the other one? Here we go. I got some of these Copic multiliners in wine. Now, when I originally went looking for them, I finally found them on Amazon, and they had a pack of like 4 of them in the different sizes, but the pack got sold out. This is the 0.5, the 0.5, and the 0.3. These are permanent, and they are divine. They are absolutely divine. Thank you. Thank you. I said earlier, it's just LA Colors Weekend Escape. I don't buy super expensive fingernail polish because when I wash dishes and stuff, it comes off. So I don't buy super expensive. I guess I could use gloves. That happens every time I do a video. But I don't because I'm polishing them like every couple of days, and I bought the nail polish with argan oil to moisturize my nails because I did have the gel stuff over my nails. They had finally grown out, but it messes up my nails, and I was going to go and pay to have the gel put on my nails, but then I was thinking, you know, I'll just use that argan oil stuff, get the stuff to put on my fingers before I put the polish on, and I'll just keep doing it myself because honestly, when I type, my nails can't be past the bed of my finger anyway, or I can't really type very well. And I type like 75 words a minute, and it's I don't want to mess up my typing. I do a lot of typing, writing. But I love these pens. I love these Copic multiliners. And now I want them in all the colors. In all the colors. I want them in all the colors. They're really great to sketch with because they don't have that harsh line that the black pen has. You can't swipe touch screens with long nails. I haven't bought any Copics. Everyone seems to say, please, the paper, what are you going to use the pens on? Okay, well, I drew this right here with these pens, and it didn't bleed through, but let's see. Haven't done anything for today's page. So over here, I'll do the YouTube emblem. And I'll talk about how I did the live chat. So there's the YouTube emblem. And here's the back side of the page. And if I hold it to the light, you can see some ghosting a little, but there's absolutely no bleed through. No bleed through whatsoever at all. The lavender Copic multiliner, one of them came in an Art Snacks box, but that was the Art Snacks box right before I signed up, the 1 or 2 before I signed up. I can get older Art Snacks boxes, but you can order these individually. And I don't know that I need every single size. So I like having the smaller and the thicker. The very, Lord have mercy. Are you freaking kidding me? Okay. That sketchbook is the Taroko Design Enigma, which is 68 GSM Tomoho River paper. Now, so you can get an idea, let's go to the back of my Hobonichi, where it has just the paper. Actually, I'll do it in the front because I have a lot of this I haven't used yet because this was April's. So we'll draw a coffee cup, and I'll use the 0.5 because I used the 0.3 last time. And I'll do a couple of lines. Okay, so here's the coffee cup, and this is the Hobonichi paper, which is thin. And there's no bleed through. There's ghosting on the Hobonichi paper because it is very thin, but there's no bleed through. It's just ghosting. But I haven't had a pen yet that doesn't have. These are really famous for being friendly for fountain pens, and this is that turquoise ink, this Kujaku, this one. So here's the front, and as you can see, there's ghosting, but there's no bleed through. It has got to be the full moon. It's got to be the friggin' full moon. So, I don't, let's see, we'll do it on here. This is my Patreon planner. So we'll do it here in the back where I did the pen test. Twisby, and I have no idea, so we're going to do this. So here's the turquoise ink where I wrote with it, and I have a couple of spots of bleed through. And this is the Erin Conjuring notebook that I got in the Happy Mail from Callie. So then we'll see if the Copic multiliner does it. No bleed through at all. Now I will tell you, these are multi-liners. These aren't, they're markers. They're not the sketch markers. These are actually called Copic multi-liner pigment ink, water and Copic proof. So they're different than regular Copics. They're different. They're like they're supposed to be like the Stettler multi-liners, the pigment liners. Like some Stettlers bleed and are not waterproof. Those little pens that we get, that everybody started getting for the bullet journal stuff. These pens, they bleed and they're not waterproof. But I like them. I like them. You just have to make sure that you put them down at the end. But these, however, you let them, once you let them dry, they're waterproof. You can't do anything. Even carbon ink, if you mess with it while it's still wet, is going to, you know, feather and stuff. So The Copic sketches are like old school Sharpies. They are addictive. I haven't tried the Copic sketches. I haven't tried anything Copic except for that, the Copic multiliner. I did, however, get the Touch New, and I didn't know it at the time. They have the broad nib instead of that. They have this nib, which is like a regular, and then they have this broad nib, like a marker. And I like these, but they're alcohol based, and they're in, I like the watercolor. But these work really well on the glossy surface of like those blank tarot cards that I got, that I've been slowly but surely doing. And they work really well on that acetate paper. Like, I bought the acetate paper and I brought the wrong kind. So I, on occasion, cut a piece, or if I get a piece like this, I can clean it, cut a portion of it, or like it'll have the indentation from where the stickers were, and I can cut that out, color it in with one of these, let it dry because it's alcohol based, and I have like a little tip in or something. But it works really well, these, because they're alcohol based on acetate paper. You just have to let it dry. I don't have alcohol inks yet. I've been thinking about making my own. But Copic markers aren't really good on any kind of paper except paper that's made for Copics. Hey guys, you got to try the Copic Black ink. It's to die for. They're ink paper. I haven't tried them on the tome rubber, but I adore them on 32 printer papers. Okay, I don't know what Copic Black is. Are you talking about actual ink, Sherry? I got that idea from Allie Brown, and then from some other lady that was doing stuff like that, because she makes cards for people. The people who make the cards and stuff like that, they have all kinds of really cool ideas. If it's a refill you buy for the sketch, they have a pen, I guess, a sketch pen. Is it waterproof? So I've been watching on and off. There's a couple of different people who create cards, and you know, they use the stamp. Number 32 printer has a nice thin surface, so it seems to handle wet ink well. Dick Blick in this little refill bottle. I ended up not using it for the markers as a refill. I just use it as a dip ink. Yes, and sheen. It dries with a slight shine. Huh. I might have to. Might have to try that as a dip ink. That might work. So, yeah, I watched the lady with the cards. I got to cut this lamp off. It's in my eyes and it's hurting. Okay. But I watched the ladies who create the cards. They use like the stamps, and not the stickers. They use the stamps a lot, and they create cards and stuff. Well, I don't do the stamps. I could draw. I don't have a whole lot of stamps. I have a few stamps. I'm one of those people because I'm trying to practice my drawing skills, that I would rather draw this stuff than to stamp, because I'm not going to improve my drawing skills by using a stamp. If the stamp is cute, like I have a little camera stamp, and I have a little typewriter stamp, and sometimes I'll use it. Sometimes I'll use it on like a little piece of a card or extra paper, and then I'll look at it and I'll draw it. Instead of actually using the stamped version, I use that to go by to draw with. I don't know. I've been trying so hard to draw, and I've noticed that no matter what kind of ink people use for stamps, in the Tomoho River paper at least, it has really bad bad ghosting and some bleed through. Like, it goes through worse than almost anything else. And if you stamp it on something else first and then put the second time on your paper, I've noticed it's not so bad because it's not so like bold. But I don't know. I've gotten more and more where I'm not really a big fan of putting stamp stuff in my notebook. I did this with the Dragonfly. I have a Dragonfly stamp. And I did that. And this is 68 GSM Tomoho River paper. And I did the stamp for the Dragonfly. And you can see, I mean, you could see exactly what I stamped right here. It looks like it looks like it's on this page, not on the page behind it. I think the stamps work really well on cardstock. And I like using stamps for some things. And if I really want to put something, I'll use the stamp on a piece of cardstock or something, or drawing paper maybe, and then I'll color it in, and then I'll put it in my journal. I don't know, I don't really care for stamps. The more I get into this and the more that I do, the less I really like the stamps. I like the little date stamp, and I like a few little tiny stamps. And what I've started doing, instead of using this, which bleeds really bad, if I really want to stamp something and I like the stamp, and I use either my Zig Clean Color pens, or I use the Tombos, and I put it over the stamp, and then I put it down. I'm not using this stuff anymore because I don't like how it turns the journal. I don't like how it looks on the journal page. So even when I use my date stamp, my allergies are killing me. I only like stamps I cannot draw very intricate patterns. If you like stamps and you don't want this black ink, you can use Crayola Super Tips. You can use the Tombow markers. You can use the Zig Clean Color, any kind of watercolor marker. You can use those and put down your stamp, and then you could take a little brush and fill in the areas. You could actually take those markers and fill in like you were coloring on the stamp. If you can do it really quickly while it's still wet, while the ink that you put on the stamp is still wet, and then put it down. I don't know. I saw somebody doing that in one of those where they made a card video with the stamp, and I thought that was really cool, so I tried it, and I've been doing that in my journal ever since. I think it's really a good idea, especially for those of us who kind of like certain kinds of stamps. Like I have a mandala stamp. It's like a Zentangle kind of stamp. It's not a mandala so much as it's almost, but it's round and it's like a Zentangle, and I like that one. I like that one. So I think it was a while back, I created a card that I sent to somebody, and I took really quickly and took the outer edge and did it one color, the inner edge did it a lighter color, and then the middle, I think I did it something, and I put it on there real quick, and it kind of did an ombre effect with that Zentangle thing. And then I took a pen and went through and went over the line with the pen, a waterproof pen. Yeah, the stamp's definitely easier to clean when you use the watercolor kind of markers. They're a lot easier. I just take a baby wipe and wipe it off. So, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like some stamps. I have a few. I just don't have a whole lot of them. I just don't use them a whole lot because, one, they're expensive, and two, like I have one that Maya gave me that has the raven, Edgar Allan Poe's Nevermore, and it has the raven. It has like words in the background, and I really like using that one. So when I want to use that one, I take the black Tombow marker, put it on there, and put it on the page. And I make sure that whatever I'm going to do, because that is watercolor, that I've already done it to the page before I put that on there. Because otherwise it's going to smear. Stays on ink is a nightmare to clean. Yes, I don't have stays on ink. I had a pad, and it was a pain in the ass, and then it dried up, and then I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done. So I didn't get any more. That Ranger one is the only one I have left, and I don't know that I'll buy any more, because that, I think, is the only ink pad I actually own now. I have a little tiny orange one that came in the only order I ever did from the Reset Girl. I really liked her stuff. It's cute, but I like my my Art Snacks box subscription, and I am back with the Ipsy subscription. But I don't know. I'm not real big on. I don't think I'll ever get like a sticker subscription, because I only get in the mood every now and again for stickers. And I like to look and see if it's a mood thing. Like sometimes I might want this, and they last me for a long time because I don't use them all the time. So I love the Art Snacks subscription box. I'm working on something in here, but I messed up a page in here. So I have these little fairy things. I did a sketch of this month's sketch box. It is $24, and I think it's free shipping in the US. I got this olive green deep, and then I got the Liquitex muted violet. Came in 2 different boxes. I've gotten watercolor brushes. Actually, they could be brushes for whatever, because they work for different mediums. Hey, Carolyn. Japanese stickers. I like Japanese stickers. I have the ones I'm using now are Japanese stickers, and those are the ones I've had for like a year and a half, going on 2 years. An Ancient Page ink pad. I have an old ink pad, and I have a bottle of ink, but it's not waterproof ink, because I used to be a notary. This past October, I gave it up. I was a notary for 20 years. And the only thing because I don't work in finance or anything anymore, I didn't really need it. And on occasion, people would ask you, can you marry, will you marry us, kind of thing. So I was like, you know what? I didn't want to renew it, but I still have the pad and the ink, but it's not waterproof. And that pad has worked better than anything else. So I guess I could actually refill that pad with waterproof ink. How much? So cool. Tempting. So the Art Snacks box comes with a lot of different things. I have footage to put up, but I need to edit it. I showed Patreon what I got in the Art Snacks box. This time around, I got this Faber-Castell Eco pigment. This one is waterproof. Excuse me. I went outside this morning and weeded my rose garden. And this is the Zig Cocorio. This comes apart. And it has these are like, you can use these. This is really good for lettering. And it's a cool pen. It really is a cool pen. But this ink is not waterproof. I really wish this were waterproof. So I guess I'm going to have to look when this one gets close to running out and see if I can find one of these refills in waterproofing. But this is the new Faber-Castell line, and it has this indentation, and this is a thick little nib on here. I mean thick, but it's waterproof. This is a 0.7. Do I garden a lot? Yes, you can order back boxes. And if you sign up, Sherry, when I signed up, after I paid for my first subscription box, they sent me an email with a $25 gift card, a $25 thing. So I actually got a free box. So I ended up with 2 boxes for the price of one when I signed up for Art Snacks. I like to garden. I want to next spring plant a small garden. I like getting outside and getting fresh air. It's very therapeutic for me. I have anxiety, and it really helps me taking a walk, getting outside. I like cutting grass. Cutting grass to me is relaxing. It does. My allergies don't like it. But I think one of the back boxes I got with Art Snacks, I went through looking at what the different boxes had to see what I wanted to try that I hadn't tried. You know, because they send you different kinds of things. Like each box has a bunch of different things. Well, if I do a garden in the spring, I will do some video of that, even if I have to get Mr. Rockstar to film me doing some of that. You like the outdoors from inside? I am in front of a window. We have our own yard. I have a huge backyard. We actually live on what our house is on is 3/4 of an acre. It's actually a little bit more than 3/4. It's a little under an acre, but it's so it's just a hair over 3/4 of an acre, and the bulk of that's our backyard. So, but I did I planted like a little rose garden in front of our porch. I have like 4 roses, a miniature rose, 2 regular rose bushes, and then a wild rose, clinging rose. That thing, I have got to get a trellis for that thing. Okay, phone crash, didn't see why you call having Mr. Rockstar. Pray tell, please. People are going to be he sings and plays the guitar. He was in a band. He did acoustic shows. He's getting back into, he's going to be doing acoustic shows again. Right now, they're preparing, but it'll be him and one other person the next go round. He said he's not going to do the band thing again because he doesn't really want to do bar places or clubs. So he's a singer and a guitar player. He's the lead singer in a band. That's why I call him Mr. Rockstar. When I first met him, the first thing my friend said when I asked her about him, when I asked who he was, other than to tell me he was David Taylor, was, oh, he can play and sing. He's a rock star, is what she said, kind of thing. So that's why I call him Mr. Rockstar. Also, every now and again, we'll call him Mr. Truck Driver because that's his full-time job. The music thing is his hobby. He does get paid for it sometimes, but it's been a while since he did an acoustic show or anything, but he got tired of it. And when he said he felt like when his hobby, he liked getting paid, it helps you reinvest into things that you need. But he said it became like a job. The people in the band it got to be a bit much, you know, like especially when you were having gigs back to back. And at that time he was working, and he would get off on Friday and get off at like 6:30, 7 o'clock after having to be up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. He would get off at 7 or 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, come home, rush, take a shower if he was lucky, run to a gig, you know, and then be at the gig until like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then have to go to work Saturday morning. He said that he couldn't do it anymore. So now he's going to do acoustic shows like at some of the beach. We have a few beaches that are an hour to 2 hours away. And some of their little local kind of places are like restaurant bars, like they have happy hour. But it's not like a bar. It doesn't have the bar atmosphere. You know, it has more of a restaurant happy hour kind of thing, and live music. I love live music, but I don't like the bar club. I'm too old for all that shit. Yeah, it's more work than people realize. It is definitely more work. You have to practice. If he knows 30 or 50 songs, that's a lot of practice playing and singing to get to that knowing 30 or 50 songs. And then you have to rotate new songs in and get rid of old songs. And that's a lot of work. So you're talking practice once or twice a week. And then, you know, and his full-time job. And he couldn't do any of that when he was over the road. So that's why I call him Mr. Rockstar. Art Snacks box and my yard. I am from the city. I grew up on James Island in Charleston, South Carolina, and we had a yard. I mean, and we were at the beach all the time. But my mom and my stepdad grew up on farms when they were little. My real daddy, they lived in Charleston, and some places out in Charleston have like gardens and stuff like that. You can, I'm not saying in Charleston you can't have gardens, because you can, but I grew up in the city, not like a city like New York. All right. I wish they had some kind of code people could use for Art Snacks, but as far as I know, they don't have a code. Or I would give y'all a code. I haven't found where they have a code. Congratulations though. I love Art Snacks. But I priced around. I watched a ton of YouTube videos. I watched a lot of them on different art subscription boxes. And I chose Art Snacks because everybody I watched on videos, for the most part, I think there was one person who didn't really care for everything that was in an Art Snacks box. Yeah, they need to give you a referral discount. I have never seen a referral discount. So, but I like everything they sent me. And sometimes the candy, they sent me that cinnamon, the hot. I used to do it as a kid, but whew, I was on it for 6 months. Oh yeah, Canada's price is expensive. Yeah. Well, I will have you know, Hilma, that I found a couple of things I really wanted, but they were Canadian or UK, and the shipping was outrageous. And I was like, you know what? Can't do it. I can't do it. Can't do it. I like Jet Pens. I wish Jet Pens had a subscription box. Jet Pens needs to get a subscription box. So, but yeah, I like the stuff they've sent so far. Blitzy is the only option for international stuff. Yeah, probably. I don't know much about Blitzy. So for those of you wondering, yes, my daughter helped me cut my hair. If you're in the US, the $24 is part of they have free shipping if you're in the US. Amazon, it depends. With art stuff, Amazon would not be bad for some kind of subscription box. Jet Pens and Goulet, yeah, I would like to have some kind of subscription box. I wanted to sign up for their ink thing, but I never got around to it. And now I don't think they're doing it anymore. So my daughter cut my hair. I need to go get it, I guess, evened up a little, because luckily you can't tell with curly hair. But I'm slowly but surely getting all of the old color out of it. Jet Pens, Goulet Pens is your love. I love Goulet Pens too, but Jet Pens seems to have more stuff, art stuff, and sometimes Jet Pens is less expensive. Thank you. That's how they sucked me into, Carolyn. Yes. I love Goulet Pens. Like, they get their stuff out to you really quick. No, I'm not. I'm going all natural. I'm not dyeing it at all. I haven't dyed it in months. A lot of the highlight is from the sun. Yeah, you can see. My hair is a lot of different colors. No, I don't have any patience either, which is why a lot of times I'll choose Amazon over any of those, even if it's like $1 or $2, because if you think about it, unless you spend $100, basically, I think like with Dick Blick and with Jet Pens and some of those places, unless you spend $100, you don't get free shipping. Yeah. But I don't always have $100 to spend, but I want to get like 1 or 2 things. Like I like to get a pen, you know, and if I just want like 2 or 3 pens and they're not fountain pens, and I'm looking for a few pens, if I want to get the, like I ordered, I think it was 3 or 4 of the different kind of white pens, and I got them from Jet Pens. I ended up paying more in shipping than it would have cost me to pay the $2 extra total to get the stuff from Amazon. Look is good for hardcore art supplies, but not so much for pen and ink types yet. So, you know, I mean, it really just depends on what you're getting and where. I price. Like, I will go on Amazon and total up, put it in my cart, and look and see what it is I'm ordering. And then I'll go to Goulet Pens, and then I'll go to, like, Jet Pens, depending on who has what, and I price with shipping, and because Amazon's prices are sometimes just a tad higher, and then I'll price because I can get it free from Amazon. I also like Jerry's Artorama, but I've noticed that sometimes Jerry's Artorama has more expensive stuff than Amazon does. Just really depends. The only place I haven't tried is that Joe, Cheap Joe, what that place. So yeah, Online Research Pros. I actually priced my cart with shipping and everything. Thank you. You have a great Saturday too, Leanne. But I've been trying like some different things little by little. Like I was watching about, I watched 2 or 3 different videos over about use Joe's, or yeah, I've used Jerry's once, haven't used Joe's yet. But I was watching over a period of about 3 or 4 months where people were talking about other white gel pens, not the Uniball Signo. Every now and again, my Uniball Signos will dry up, or there'll be ink in there, but they just will not work. And I'm like, and the same thing happens with the little jelly roll pens. I'm like, there has to be a better alternative. There has to be. And I found the hybrid. Which is, as soon as I find it, okay, so I found these 2. Woo! Ow, damn. So this is, the Pentel Hybrid Grip, and this is the Uniball Signo in the angelic color. And so far, these work really well. Really well. Most of my white pens stay in my pen bag, which means they're laying down. They're not standing up. Most of my pens, I have 2 different pen bags, and then I have the pen case. But they all lay down. And I just found on Amazon, and it went on my wish list because I don't know about paying $100 for a backpack. So if I can find one on sale, I found the backpack that matches this, the Kipling. I want that backpack, y'all. So it's on my Amazon wish list. The backpack that matches my Kipling case, because yeah, it's either that or that German one. I can't think of the German name. It's like starts with a K or something. The German one, it actually lays flat, and you can open it up kind of like a little carry-on suitcase, the little kind with the wheels. Yeah. Yeah, you guys got good health care. We got cheap shipping. Might be worth it. Laugh out loud. Uni whites have been a hit and miss for me. Oh my God, I want that bag. Which bag? And then I have this, and this I got because of Courtney. This is the Delphonics bag. And I haven't. Which bag are you wanting, Sherry? My little Snoopy bags. This actually has a journal cover that matches. But I have Snoopy at the typewriter. The Kipling you have? Yeah, the Kipling I have. Thank you. I got new to me. It was used. But they have the book bag, the Kipling book bag that matches that bag. So yeah, I don't know. I like it because it looks like a bunch of little notebooks. It's called something, but what they call it to me that looks different. It looks like a bunch of little notebooks or books. I guess it's supposed to be like windows or something. I don't know exactly, but to me it looks like windows or a bunch of little notebooks. That's why I like it, because it looks like a bunch of little notebooks or books. Yeah, yeah. I want the book bag, but I can't spend $100. But the one thing I would like about that book bag rather than my little Snoopy canvas tote is that it has like a place for you to put like your laptop in it. And my husband has my Swiss Army book bag. He's been using my book bag, but my book bag's just black and burgundy. So yeah, I think if I get some money for Christmas, I'll be getting that from Amazon for myself for Christmas, and that'll be my big art travel bag. My husband's been trying to talk me into going back to college, but I don't know if I want to go back to college. I've been thinking about it. So that's about it, because it's getting kind of late and I need to get some more coffee, and my camera's almost finished charging, and I need to put the video together of my daughter doing the Chutes and Ladders page and put it up on YouTube. And for what, I missed something. And I want to film. I want to do some kind of watercolor sketch or something, some journal, and I need to also film my plan with me video. Oh, for college, I was going for when I first started, I was doing written communications, journalism, and then I switched to creative writing, and then I switched to psychology, and then that's when I left. I haven't. So I don't know if I went back. I'm not sure I'd want to go for any of those things, to be honest. I don't know what I'd want to do. I would actually like to go to photography school, do some kind of, maybe learn how to take a few classes about like computer stuff, like how to do software editing and all kinds of things like that. Like, I don't know if I actually want to go to school for any of the things. I'd rather go to school for photography, and I'd rather do like creative things. I don't want to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I don't think I want to be a journalist anymore. None of those things. And I'm 50 now, so like I don't know what, I don't know. Creative writing is the only other thing that I really enjoy. As far as out of those that I had thought about doing. And you don't have to have a degree to be a creative writer, to write books. So I don't know. I've actually considered, instead of going back to college, taking a photography class or course or something, because I need to get better at that stuff. I want to get better at that stuff. It's not just me. Graphic design and multimedia. I wouldn't mind doing something like that. I wouldn't mind doing something like that. Something that's more along the lines of where my life has actually taken me rather than where I once was. Funny, I thought I would know what I want to be when I grow up, when I got in my 50s, but alas, not so. Just, yeah, well, I already have like $40,000 worth of student loans because I only have about 1 year left, and I'd have my bachelor's degree because I got that close. And that's one of the reasons why he's like, you should go back, finish up your degree. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I want to add any more to that outrageous student loan thing that I have. Because I was going to college on and off. But when my kids were little, I started college in 1999. And I went solid for 2.5, 3 years, on and off. Like went for like a whole 1.5, 2 years, got the 2-year degree. And then it kind of, then I was like, well, then my kids needed braces, so I had to go back to work full time and get health insurance that had covered braces. So college went kind of to the side for a while, and then I tried to go back again, and then it was something else. Raising 2 kids by myself, every time I turned around, it was something else. So college always ended up being secondary, and I was working finance and banks and stuff like that. So I did that for like 30 years, worked in that kind of field. So, yeah, it is depressing. And now I'm thinking, I don't know. I would rather take an actual class here or there, maybe adult ed classes from multimedia, or maybe a photography class for adult ed, or, I don't know. And going online, which is one of the ways I did it when my kids were later on, I tried to do online, and it's even more expensive. Online college was even more expensive than regular college. So yeah, so I don't know. I don't think I'm actually going to go to college. I think we're going to find some classes. I want to take a few classes, like I said, like a photography class, maybe a multimedia class, where I can learn how to do updated computer stuff, because my nephews are young. They're in school now, and they know more about computer stuff than I do. So I'd like to take some updated classes on how to use stuff. So that's it. I hope y'all have a great weekend. I will see y'all again soon. Thanks, y'all. Bye. All right, let's get out of this.